I think we're recording on YouTube now, so anytime anyone's ready to get going.
Are you recording to Facebook?
I can if you'd like. Should we start that?
If you're ready, go ahead and start that, yeah. Sven, can you turn your camera on?
Only if I really want to.
Okay, well, I need you to turn it on when I swear you in.
Oh, yes. Oh, no, I can definitely.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah,
I can see him.
I think I'm already there.
Just
Who's
in case
missing?
there's
Mark Emanuel.
He's here. I see his name.
Mark, are you able to turn your camera on?
Can you hear me, number one?
Yes, hear you great.
Yes. All right. Instruct me on the camera, Molly.
Okay, take your cursor and run it down to the lower right-hand corner.
Where it says leave. Where it says leave.
Sorry, lower left-hand corner.
Start video.
Yes, leave.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah, that'd work. But
Got it.
Great.
Thanks, Molly.
There he is.
There he is.
Do we have all councilors present?
If you move a little bit, then you'll have the American and the state flag right between you.
All where you place your laptop.
Mark?
Yes.
Just, I don't know how familiar you are with Zoom, but if you scroll down to the bottom of the page, just so you know, you can start to see how many participants are on. Like there's a whole number next to participants.
Correct.
Just making sure so you can just see. And then if you go to the top, you see that arrow over there. You should be able to scroll and see names or numbers, things of that nature.
Okay. Let's try it.
Sounds good. If you're ready to go, we can let in the 7 people in the waiting room.
Clerk's office is ready. Let him in.
Here they come.
Making sure. And if you go to the top, you see that arrow, you'll be able to scroll and names or numbers.
So let's mute Cindy Lasser because she's got her background noise. Okay. Whenever you're ready, Andre.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody. And it's great to have you all here on our Monday, December 7th, 2020 Town Council meeting. I'm starting this meeting off tonight as the second warden. We have a quorum of 4 former council members to start off the meeting, and we will all be sworn in our respective roles after warden's report and public input. So with that, I'm going to just get started. I just want to let you know if you're watching on YouTube, there's a 10-second delay, and it's probably better to listen on your phone if you'd like to comment. But if you're on your phone, push 9 on your phone to raise your hand. The town councilors will be recognized before audience members. The first warden will recognize you and address you by name or your phone digits and ask for your comments or your questions. Push number 6 on your phone to unmute and address, and 6 to mute when finished speaking. With that being said, I'll begin this meeting with the warden's report. And I would just like to say that I want to congratulate my fellow town council members for sitting at this table with me tonight. I look forward to working with every single one of you. Mary Ann and the clerks put together quite a comprehensive packet for us, and I want to thank them for that. It's going to be extremely helpful moving on. In that packet, you'll find your council rules of procedure, your charter, amongst other items. And I would just want to ask the town councilors moving forward to please familiarize yourselves with the contents of that packet. I think it'll make for more efficient meetings and a better, better experience. And there will be a test. And I think that's about it under Warden's report. And but I'd just like to say that today's my mom's birthday, so happy birthday, Madeline Boudreau. I can say that. And that's it. Sven, do you have anything? I know it's not, you're not quite the second warden yet, but I want to give you the opportunity if you'd like to say something under the warden's report.
Thank you, Andre, and thank you for the compliment. I think if I can speak for all of us, to you too, following some great years and Ken and his leadership, and really thank him. And unfortunately, he's not here today, but thank you very much, and congratulations to you. And the only real warden's report or second warden's report would be we'll hear from Dr. Warcup later, and we'll talk a lot about emergency ordinances and COVID. But now Rhode Island is, I think, one of the worst states from a rate point of view. And I just asked everybody when they go to the mainland to be very, very careful. And if you have to travel, I guess you do, but ask for your listening to the governor and following the advice of the medical
So they
professionals.
just blocked me and put me off. So I watched the meeting, but they let me blocked. I wasn't going to say nothing anyway. Fucking assholes.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
what's going on?
I don't know. Continue, Sven.
No, I'm done. That was it. I was just asking for everybody to be careful.
Thank you. I think you captured our sentiments exactly at this time. The minutes, we have quite a set of minutes. I'm just wondering how the council feels about maybe amending the agenda to put those at the bottom and doing the swearing in first. So I'm going to make a motion to move the minutes number 1 on the agenda down to number 15. It would be a new 15. It's after 14, discuss and act on the 2021 meeting schedule.
Second.
So second from Sven.
Yes.
Okay. Keith, all those,
Yes.
Mark, is that okay?
Yes. Aye.
Martha?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to move the minutes down to a new 15. And the first item on the agenda is to swear in the town council, the new town council.
Man, that was good. The pot pie was good. They can't hear me. I can't hear that.
Molly.
Molly, can you block people? Not block,
Mute.
mute. Thank you. That's the word I wanted. Whoever's 860-808-9867, need you to mute.
Molly?
Thanks, Andre. Congratulations on your election. And I'll go ahead and administer the oath of office to you if you're ready. Could you
Thank you,
please
Emily.
raise your right hand? Do you, Andre Boudreau, solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of the office of First Warden according to the best of your abilities, that you will support the charter granted to New Shoreham in 1672, the Home Rule Charter of the town, the Constitution and laws of this state, and the Constitution of the United States, so help you God?
I'll swear.
Congratulations, Mr. First
Thank you,
Warden.
Molly.
Okay. Sven,
Yep.
I'm ready to administer the oath if you're ready. Thank you. Do you, Sven Rasem, solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of the office of second warden according to the best of your abilities?
I
That you
do.
will support the charter granted to New Shoreham in 1672, the Home Rule Charter of the town, the constitutions and laws of this state, and the Constitution of the United States? So help you God.
So help me God, I do.
Congratulations, Mr. Second Warden. Martha took the oath of office earlier today. She doesn't have a video connection, so she was sworn in person at Town Hall. Mark Emanuel, do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of the office of Town Council according to the best of your abilities, and that you will support the charter granted to New Shoreham in 1672, the Home Rule Charter of the town, the Constitution and laws of this state, and the Constitution of the United States, so help you God?
I will.
Congratulations, thank you.
Thanks, Mom.
Mr. Stover,
Yes,
do you, Keith Stover, solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of the office of Town Council according to the best of your abilities? Will you support the charter granted to New Shoreham in 1672, the Home Rule Charter of the town, the Constitution, excuse me, and laws of this state, and the Constitution of the United States, so help you God?
I do.
Congratulations. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Molly. I hear the applause. There it is. There it is.
There you go. Can always count on him for some commentary.
I was on mute, not my dog.
That was mine.
Next item on the agenda is to discuss and act on possible amendment to the emergency ordinance of the town of New Shoreham adopted May 27th, 2020 as amended, pertaining to communal housing and other issues during the COVID-19 pandemic. Molly or Kathy, can I combine these two items? Is Kathy Marola here?
Can you hear me?
Yes, Kathy, thank you, loud and clear. I'm just wondering if we can combine 3 and 4 for discussion.
No, I'm sorry. 4 is specific to masks,
Okay.
whereas the general one is 3.
Okay, thank you so much on that clarification. Okay, so item number 3. Is there anybody want to start off a discussion on that? I know Tom's here. Tom, would you like to give us your input, an update?
Sure, and congratulations to all the town council members swearing in. Today was another difficult day, and I think we're entering a real challenging time for Block Island. Last week, we had approximately 10 new positive COVID cases, and today we had 4 that if the entire family unit is positive, will be at least another 10. These are individuals that they're not transient, they're community members of ours. All I can really express is that if you're outside of your family unit, please wear masks. That includes friends of your children that you may see all the time, or cousins and aunts and uncles that may be visiting from other parts of the island. I know that we often consider those individuals close-knit part of our own circle, but we're finding that that's how the spread has happened over the last few months. Friends of children coming into the home, but these are kids that you know, kids that are part of our extended family, but please be extremely cautious, wear your mask, hand sanitize, and if you have any signs of illness, to please give us a call for consultation. What we are excited about is we have expanded testing now on the island. The school district has secured the Binax Now testing equipment that I have mentioned in the past. So this allows for the teachers and the students to have an exclusive access to a rapid COVID test. But again, these are specifically meant for students and teachers only. The rest of our community will still have access to the Fire Barn PCR testing that's done on Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesday with Tracy Fredericks, Thursday by the DMAT, Rhode Island DMAT group that's been coming since the beginning of the summer. And then certainly the Black Island Health Services will take on any symptomatic testing. which we have been working with the school district as well as the state and EMS, and it's been going very, very well, I believe. There's a tremendous amount of people making the opportunity to get testing done, but I'm really appreciative that the teachers and the students now have exclusive access to the Binax system now.
Thank you, Doctor. So could you confirm, since Block Island's total cases since March?
Where if the extended families are positive, will be in the low 40s.
Low 40s since March.
If the extended families are positive from today.
Right. And without that, we're still looking at 30, up in the 30s, right?
High 30s, 37.
All right. Well, I just like to reiterate what the doctor said. You know, in a year-round population of 1,000 people, 30 people might not sound like a lot, but it really is a lot. I'm not going to say anything more than what the doctor has said. I think it's just a personal behavior issue at this point. And I just would really hope that our residents be vigilant about this. Martha, I see you have your hand up. Would you like to say anything?
Yeah, I just think you need the perspective of how few cases we had until the Dr. Walkup. I'm not even sure what the date was when it started to explode. It was November. I think it was middle of November.
Yes.
And that's what really has to be driven home here. That just because we got through the summer doesn't mean we're safe haven. And people just don't seem to be understanding it or accepting it. It's hard to accept. Nobody wants to be closed off like this.
Thank you, Martha. Sven?
I agree with Martha and your comments and Dr. Workup. The one thing I would like to pass on, Dr. Workup, to you, the rescue squad, everybody, is the amazing job that has availed testing on Block Island. Our son out in Oregon, you can hardly get a test out there unless you're really sick. Other people we know on the mainland, you got to wait in lines for hours. You got to, reserve, and still it's hard. You and Tracy and DMAP and all those folks have done an amazing job of allowing tests and enabling safety and precautions. So to Martha's point, please go get tested, but more importantly, live as reserved a life as you can right now.
Thank you, Sven. Keith, go ahead.
Sure. Just real quick, because when Dr. Walkup brought up the school, it made me, and what Martha said just made me think of Town Hall. I drive by there almost every day, and there are a lot of cars, and it seems like a lot of people. So I just, I hope that we're really enforcing mask wearing there, really enforcing distancing, that people who don't have to be at Town Hall aren't working there, because when you look across the island, that is a place like the school that has a lot of people in it, and that's exactly what I think we're supposed to be worried about. So I'm sure everything's going great, but it just occurred to me as I drove by the other day that there were a lot of cars there.
Thank you, Keith. Martha, do you have any comment?
Andre?
Yeah, Martha, do you have your hand up still?
I shouldn't, but there was something else I did want to say, and this is a little bit broader, that I think we have to somehow get the message out. I'm hearing rumors and seeing things on Facebook about people coming here for New Year's and having, house parties and, exactly what they were talking about earlier on the news from the governor of Massachusetts, that these informal gatherings are where the problems are. And however, to discourage that and really get the word out that please think before you, come to Block Island and have a party, because again, it's not safe haven.
Well, thank you for that, Martha. And I did hear tonight on the news that Massachusetts has now been put on Rhode Island's list. And we do know that we have a lot of, Massachusetts homeowners here. And, I think we should take the week to figure out the whole Christmas week season and, revisit this once we get more information and revisit this. I mean, obviously these are on our agendas every time we have a meeting. So if there's some changes we want to make, I would advocate counselors, thinking really hard this week on that and, coming to our next meeting next week. And if there's any changes we want to make to this ordinance to maybe clamp down a little bit over the holiday season, then we could do it, we could do it then. I think it's important that it gets the word out there because I do know, the holiday season is the holiday season. People come to their houses here, more so now this year. But, with these lists, the states that have been added to the list, taken off the list, we should, to protect our residents. And I know we've had challenges in the past of trying to figure that out, but I think if we do it this week, and if we really want to do something about it, we should come prepared to the next meeting to do so. Mark, do you have a question?
Yeah, I'm glad Martha brought that up. If we remember what happened in the summer months when all the restrictions were put on cities and towns on the mainland, whether it was beach access, parking at beaches, whatever, too many people thought, why not just go to Block Island where there are no restrictions or certainly not as severe. So it's excellent you brought that up, Martha. And yes, we have to brainstorm that so we don't have a repeat of what we saw in the summer.
Yeah, and I think Mark, to expand on that, it's the small gatherings inside that seems to be the problems. And I think, I don't know if the doctor wants to confirm that, but I think we say it every single meeting. It's the small gatherings of people who just think that, that it's safe and it's okay. And this is where most people are getting infected at this point. So, 40 in the community right now. Tom, how many, to go back to what Martha said, out of that 40, what number would you put on that since, say, October or September? Because I know we got through the summer pretty,
I would say 30. I would say 30 of them are from that point, and 20 of those 40 are in the last 10 days.
Exactly. So
it's really kind of blossomed for us. And I think to validate what you feel anecdotally is that I'm seeing one member of a family unit that is going back and forth to the mainland or other New England states and coming back. I'm seeing people that are coming to their homes here and not quarantining, coming from New York, coming from Massachusetts, kind of got out of those states, but they're out in the community. They're not quarantining at home. They're out in the stores, et cetera, et cetera. And we're seeing the small family gatherings, as you mentioned, with just this kind of expanded family unit of people and you communicate with all the time, but they're spokes on a wheel. They're coming from different households that have other inputs into their lives as well. And then what we're finding is when one's sick, there's 5 others that are sick. And only thing that I've started to notice in the last 10 days, where before there was a lot of asymptomatic nature to it, in the last 10 days, we actually been seeing more symptomatic respiratory symptomatology. Some individuals that are older that are making us a bit nervous, and they're doing well, but it's starting to hit some of our older members of the community. We've had that from time to time sporadically, but now we're getting somewhat of a cluster. And I'm just, I think it's going to be challenging for us over the next several weeks.
thank you, Doctor. Sven?
Marianne, maybe at next meeting in 2 weeks or whenever the next meeting is, week and a half, maybe, Marianne, you could work with Dr. Workup and see if there are any sort of tactical recommendations of signage. So, for example, I know Bill McComb moved a mask wearing sign sort of near Old Harbor Dock that was somewhat directed towards folks leaving Ballards coming to the ferry about wearing masks. He put that on the interstate building because that's what sort of everybody sees. And I'm just wondering whether it's signage, going back to handing out brochures things like that. So maybe from a staff point of view, with Dr. Warkup, if there's 3-4 ideas that one can talk about communicating. I mean, what's happening is exactly what everybody predicted and feared. And it's only going to be, quote unquote, the same at Christmas or New Year's. So if there's any tactical recommendations staff or the medical center could help us with, again, handing out masks, signage, handouts at the boat, whatever it may be, would love to hear that if you think you can do that, Marianne.
Sure, I will follow up with you folks at the next meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marianne. I personally think everybody knows all that at this point. And I think it's a behavioral thing. But we'll just wait, like I said, we'll take this week and we'll figure out how things will go for the next meeting. Does anybody else have any comments on this topic? Keith?
I have one quick question. What is the rule on out-of-state travelers to Rhode Island quarantining? Because that's of real concern. If we have people who are coming out here who are supposed to quarantine and are going to the grocery store, that worries me.
Yeah, that was a big worry back for all of us in the past, and this is what I'll let the doctor speak to that.
It's what so when people are coming from some of these more hot spots, and unfortunately Rhode Island's had more than double the positivity rates of Massachusetts and Connecticut each of the last 2 weeks, 7-day cycles. So when people come, they're supposed to quarantine for 10 days. The CDC did shorten the 14-day cycle to 10-day cycle, given the fact that the virus shedding is not infectious on day 11, which is why people on day 11 of a diagnosis, and assuming they have no symptoms, can re-enter their lives. And just to remind people, if those individuals would go and get tested, they would be positive, because the way the testing works is that it amplifies the virus to develop enough copies so the testing can identify it, even though the copies that those people are shedding is very, very minimal. So people that have recently had a diagnosis shouldn't retest for at least 3 weeks, but they can re-enter their lives if they're symptom-free after day 11. And we're even getting people that are afraid to come to the medical center with a sense that this is
Did I lose my connection?
No, I think the doctor may have.
Thanks.
Is Dr. Warkup here? Molly, did we lose Dr. Warkup?
Seems that way.
Dr. Warkup's frozen. I'm trying to email him right now. So
Okay.
maybe he can join us later.
He was on a roll.
So to Sven's point earlier, that stuff that we're working on in terms of signage ought to include the current status of quarantine if you're coming from other places.
Yep.
It's not just about mask wearing, it's about you're not supposed to have contact with anybody.
But also, Keith, sorry,
Go ahead, Sven.
but I think, Keith, you heard from Dr. Warkup. I agree with you 100%. You also heard from Dr. Warkup before that it is island families. Somebody's going to the mainland, whether it's
Sure.
supplies. So, I mean, I want to be careful not to get to the we and them. I think this is true for everybody. And awareness of what the rules are is critical.
No, I'm believe me, that's not where I am. But when the doctor says that he's hearing reports of people coming from out of state, and having positive tests and going to the grocery store, then if there's a rule, we ought to be enforcing it.
Thanks, Keith. Do we have the doctor back yet?
Hey, Andre, Bill McComb, when you have a chance.
Go ahead, Bill. We're waiting for the doctor to come back.
Yeah, just to follow up kind of what Sven was saying, and Tom Ayers and I had spoke about this before, and I think it would behoove us to speak a little more and have something for the next meeting. In the into what Keith said, I'm noticing a lot of cars coming over, whether people have summer houses or coming for the weekend, a lot of out-of-state plates. We have that captive audience for an hour on that boat. I think it's important that, like we did in the fall, and I think it was, in the spring, I think it was successful, is to, the council has any literature that we want to put out of, not, just what the state law is. So if you're coming from Massachusetts, you're coming over for the weekend, you need to quarantine. And I think that at the point of entry at the boat, when they purchase a ticket, we can give that out. We did that before. We're happy to work with the town. And I think that, out of the gate, right at that point when they're coming over, they know that that's what's expected. And this isn't a he or them. This is a fact that if you're coming from a state that is on our list, no different than anywhere else around, we expect you to do the quarantine. And I think, like I said, handing that information at that point, you have the captive audience for an hour on the boat.
So we did this in the past. Thank you, Bill. We did this in the past, and that was very much appreciated on the council end. So I don't know how the council feels about this, but would you, Bill and Mary Ann, want to discuss that and maybe try to come up with something that Interstate could do on the other side? I mean, I know you did it in the past. I don't think we need a motion on that.
No, Bill and I, when Keith said what he stated and the rest of the councils, I wrote down, and then I wrote down, called Bill McComb. Bill and I have had conversations in the last month about this, so we can just pick up where we left off. Bill and I just spoke as early as the end of last week about this, and we said, let's see what happens next week. So we're now here. So
He's joining.
Yep. So I think the doctor's back. I certainly appreciate that, and I'm more, I'm fine with, you guys working together and coming, with something to us maybe at the next meeting. Doc Walkup?
Well, what we may do is have some things implemented also by then too.
Right. Perfect. Thank you. Dr. Walkup, are you back?
I'm back.
Thank you. I think you were at the point of before you went out.
What was the last thing you heard? Do you remember?
No, anybody?
You said that people are concerned about going to the medical center.
Yeah, and then, we were having some people that are coming from out of state that are just entering the island to be at their house, and I think get a real sense that they're emigrating from the states where they feel like it's higher, and they're coming to our community, which is also their community, but there's no quarantining happening, in my opinion, and based on how they move around in our conversation. So I don't think there's really any 10-day quarantine coming from people that are out of state.
Okay. Thank you. Does anybody else have anything on this topic? Is there anybody in the public that would like to comment?
I have one thing, Andre.
Go ahead, Mark.
It's wonderful to have Interstate as an ally in this, but we also need Chamber, Tourism Council to make sure that message is out there well in advance. We really shouldn't wait till the next meeting to make sure that's addressed. And the businesses who are taking reservations quite possibly for the Christmas or New Year's holidays need to know that stay comes with provisions if those people do indeed choose to stay and come out for that weekend.
So what do you suggest? Mary, you want Mary Ann, you want to direct the town manager to reach out to the chamber and the tourism council to pretty much, ramp up the PR campaign that we had going in March and April?
And then by extension, they can identify all the places that are renting for those holiday dates to make sure that the people know well in advance, this is what you're going to have if you come here.
I agree with you. Mary Ann, you good with?
Yep, I'm all set. I'm good.
All right. Martha Ball, do you have your hand up?
I do. The other piece of this, I'm trying to do something. Expand a bit on what Mark said. It's not just the businesses that we know about. There's still all of these online rentals and such, And that was where I saw the the New Year's house party. So somebody presenting a house online. And so it's got to be more than, I think we just need to get, notice in the paper, just a statement. I don't even sure if we need to do an ordinance revision as much as just really just get the message out there, and as clean and as simple as can be without a whole lot of stuff. Bill McComb, I'm pretty sure Interstate has the COVID link on the COVID info on the website.
That's correct. We do, and we can update that to and would work with the town. Anything will be beneficial.
Yeah, that would be great.
It has, and on there now, Martha, it does say about out-of-state travel. But what we can do is we can maybe like move that up as like a priority right out of it. Like, in other words, highlight it out a little bit, particularly if it's on neighboring states, whether it be Massachusetts or if it's Connecticut, New York at the time. When it's on there, we might be able to highlight out that state.
Thank you, Bill. Martha, you all set?
I'm all set. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Sean McGarry, I see your hands up.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. Loud and clear. Thank you.
It's my intention to ask the council to join the emergency management team, and I'm sorry I haven't got that letter in, but I plan on getting that to you. But I think that anyone leaving the island should quarantine for 10 days upon returning, unless they take a COVID test and it comes back negative. I think anyone coming from the mainland should also quarantine for 10 days or take a test. And that's all. Thank you.
Thanks, Sean. That would require, if I'm not mistaken, that would require a change in this ordinance this evening, correct?
Yes, it would.
Yes.
What is, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Keith. Keith, go ahead.
What does Dr. Workup think about that kind of a change in policy? I'm just curious from his perspective.
Dr. Workup?
I think the point's well taken. I think the difficulty comes with if somebody, let's say theoretically, somebody leaves the island on a Tuesday, they come back on a Thursday, but they take a test on Thursday and it's negative. That test may not be positive for 5 to 7 days out. So most of the recommendation is that if you feel like there was an exposure, wait 7 to 10 days. So even though I like the idea of trying to gain some guarantee that you're not infected in the moment, there's some value in that, but that doesn't give us the quality of data that we need to say that you haven't been contracted with COVID and you're not going to develop symptoms in 5 to 7 days, even though it is a measurable step. But quarantining, given that the data that we have now internationally is pretty clear that it ranges from 3 days to 8 days, with the vast majority of people by 5 days getting sick, that if you wait 5 to 7 days to get tested after a potential exposure, that's likely when your test will be purely or truly accurate as a positive or a negative. So the idea of quarantining would cover that. But I do understand the sentiment that there's value in understanding if you're sick already before you come on the island. But we would want to make sure that those people understood that if your test is negative, it's not an open pass. And I think that is pretty common what happens. I get every single test that's done at the fire barn to acknowledge to back to patients or close it within their charts. And I can appreciate that some people are using it as a marker just to continue to do whatever it is that they do. And I appreciate the fatigue factor for sure. But it's a strategy, but it's not foolproof. The quarantining would help us, but I'm not so sure we can get the personal responsibility, as you've mentioned, to do that.
Thanks, Doc. Sven?
Yeah, having been here back in March, and I think we've all lived through this, we I think have done a really nice job as an island, as part of Rhode Island, in following state regulations and actually having businesses canceling the tour, things like that. really respond. And you know, when the next meeting is going to be next week, I think let's let Marianne and Dr. Warnkup and Bill McComb come up with a communication, be able to get it out there. I hear you, Andre, saying everybody knows, but obviously everybody doesn't. So, you know, I think we have learned the hardships of suddenly being radically different than the state. And I think I want to balance that out. I am as concerned as anybody, so don't take it the wrong way, but I think departing from the state gets you into some interesting situations, and I'd rather push on communication. I'd rather push on education. I'd rather push on other areas harder than we have been in the last month. First.
Thank you, Sven. And like I said, you know, we can take this next 10 days and we can see what's going on statewide. If we need to take action on anything, I think, you know, we'll do what we need to do. Is there anybody from the public have anything to say? Anybody want any input? All right.
Yeah, I have something to say. Dylan Chase.
Hey, Dylan.
How are you? Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, congratulations to all. Absolutely. I would like to say some things I've noticed around town. There's some critical points where there's often a lot of individuals who not necessarily congregate, but there's points of touching. Block Island Grocery, ATM machine at Washington Trust. There's certain areas like that, and you know, perhaps a town initiative of providing some sanitizer or sanitation practices going around town, properly sanitizing after you know, transfer of pens and paper, things of that nature. I don't know how critical that would go. That's to the doctor, but I do notice that deficit there. Thanks.
Thanks, Dylan. And while we have you on the line, how's the testing that you've been doing going?
We are currently on hold pending funding and conversations with the Sewer Commission.
Okay. Thank you for that update.
Yes.
Anybody else? All right, I see no more hands. Marianne?
Yes.
We have some we have some, you know, some things that were brought up tonight. We can put those all in the hopper and see what's best and see how, you know, do what we can. Perfect.
Yep.
All right. So if nobody else has any comments on anything else on this agenda item, next item on the agenda is discuss and act on possible amendment to the emergency ordinances 3 of the town of New Shoreham, adopted June 24th, 2020, masks as amended pertaining to the COVID-19 pandemic. Does anybody have anything they want to discuss about masks? Dr. Warkup? Anything?
Other than they're essential.
They're essential.
I think they're essential, and I think to Dylan's comment, anything that reminds people that hand sanitation is important. This is very real. Obviously, it became very real for me on November 11th, and I can tell you that it's something that we need to continue to strive for. Fortunately, I think I've mentioned it in my YouTube videos, but I'll mention it on Town Council. The Block Island Medical Center will be a vaccination site for COVID. It looks like another 7 to 10 days before the state gets its first incremental shipment from the federal government. It'll probably take a week to 10 days to pass through the hands of the state. So we'll probably get it directly after the new year. But we will be able to do vaccinations. People won't have to travel to the mainland. The first wave will be all registered EMS personnel, anybody at the vaccination site, which would be IHS. We're including our police department as well. And then it'll be rolling forward into the community. the AstraZeneca or the Pfizer product that we're going to get is kept at 80 below. And there's only one freezer in the state that has that ability. So the moment they pack it in dry ice, the thawing process begins, and we have 5 days to administer all of that vaccine. It comes in a vial of 5 vaccinations per vial. So we'll have pretty strict control over who is signed up and who will receive the vaccine. But the state has been very clear they don't want one single dose wasted. So we'll likely keep a backup list if somebody doesn't show up, if they can get over to the health center real quick. But more to come on that and our communications from the medical center. But I just want to make sure that anyone listening, we will be a vaccination site for the community.
Thanks, Doctor. That's good news. I think another aspect of this, and I'll mention, I've heard this a lot only lately, is some of the elderly people have told me that, they've been in so long, they're being shut in. And a lot of them kind of feel, and a few of them anyway, have actually said to me, like, this is a hell of a way to end my life. Because having to go through this, being shut, locked up and all. So I just want to kind of mention to the community that, if there's anybody, if there's anybody you can check in on that's elderly and housebound, please do so. They may be nice, and you know how Block Islanders are. They may be nice and say they don't want anything, but I think it would make their day. If anybody, on the senior advisory or anybody in these groups know of anybody in particular who's really down and out about this, we can do things too. We just need to be informed. So I just wanted to mention that because that was an aspect that really brought it home to me last week. Was a lot of these older folks are they've been in their houses, they haven't left their houses, and kind of bouncing off the walls and starting to think like, is this really what it's going to be like? And I suppose that I'm going to say that it goes to the people who aren't being careful. We're getting down to personal decisions. And I would just ask everybody to think of their neighbor before they go make bad choices, as they say in kindergarten, bad choices. So with that, I don't have anything to say. Martha Ball, do you have something?
Yeah, I would. I'm only concerned about, people going around and visiting all the time. One thing people can do is send notes. I know it's kind of fallen out of fashion and is coming back into fashion again. And I think that's would be a nice gesture for everyone to, somebody must have a central list of older people, like older than me. And I think that might be a very nice thing to do, especially around now. If you're not everybody's comfortable going out to visit, not everybody's comfortable having somebody come visit them.
Right. Okay. Does anybody else have anything to say on this topic? Masks? Anybody from the council? Anybody from the public? All right. Thank you. Next item on the agenda. Okay, it's continued from October 29th, 2020, review and act on the Town of New Shore the Block Island Health Services Agreement. Both you councilors have this in your packet. I think it's been redlined so you know what the changes are. The doctor's here to discuss, as well as the town manager. So with that, I'll kick it over to Mary Ann and have her do the explaining.
Okay, so I did work with the board of the medical center, and they have seen a copy of the red line and the new agreement, and they are in agreement with it. They are okay. So at this point, I would recommend that the council approve the agreement as amended.
Thank you, Mary Ann. I'll make the motion to accept the Town of New Shore Block Island Health Services Agreement as amended.
Second.
Seconded by Sven. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Keith? Martha?
Yes.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? None. I'm in favor. Motion carries. Thank you for your hard work on that, both Dr. and Mary Ann. I know we've had this on a couple of our agendas and appreciate that getting done. Item number 6, receive and act on town manager's recommendation regarding the New Shore Police Department promotion from patrolman to corporal. Mary Ann got a request from the chief on this, and I will let her explain, why this is in front of us.
Officer Pennell has been with us for some time now. He was here, he was rehired, he was here, then took a hiatus, and then came back on July 10th, 2016. So he's been here 4.5 years, pushing 5 years. The contractual agreement that we have with the New Shore Police Department do allow for patrolmen to be promoted from a patrolman to a corporal after 1 year of service. I concur with the chief's recommendation that Officer Pennell would be promoted from a patrolman to a corporal effective July 1st, 2020, or retroactive to July 1st, 2020.
Thank you. Is Officer Pennell actually here? Is he on the?
I don't think so.
Okay. Any comments from the council? Sven?
I'm in support based on the discussions with Mary Ann and supporting the work he's done.
I'll make a motion. We approve the recommendation of the town manager to promote Tom Pennell to the rank of corporal.
Second.
Second, by Sven. Martha? Any discussion? Martha, I thought you had your hand up.
No, I'm sorry. No, I just unmuted myself.
Okay. All those in favor? Martha?
Yes.
Aye.
Momo? Mark?
Aye.
Keith?
Yes.
And I approve. Motion passes. I would just like to say that a few people contacted me about this promotion this week, and they spoke nothing of good things about the professionalism exhibited by Officer Pennell in the past. I personally appreciate his service. I know he left and came back, but he's obviously chosen to make Black Island his home. And I certainly would like to say to him, I appreciate your continued dedication to the town and the Black Island community, and I hope that you're around for a few more years. With that, I will motion carries to make this promotion happen. And good luck, Mr. Pennell. Next item on the agenda is receive and act on the recommendation of the town manager to enter into contract with Mission Broadband as a project manager for the island-wide broadband project.
Okay, what's before you this evening is exactly that, the award of the contract to Mission for the project manager for the broadband project. I do have a memo that is before you this evening, and also a detailed memo from three of the staff members that work closely on the broadband project, and also we review the proposal submitted, Amy, Michelle, and Sam Bird. I'm not going to go through the memo. The memo speaks for itself. It is very detailed and comprehensive, and I thank them for taking the time to do that. So what we're asking for the council, I'm recommending that you award the contract to Mission based on the proposal that was submitted, which was the last 2 pages. I provide you an executive summary of that proposal.
Thank you, Mary Ann. Council have any questions?
I just have one comment.
Go ahead, Keith.
If the quality of that report that we received about the award of this contract it gave me great confidence going forward because it was so thorough and well done, really nicely done. I don't know whether that was, I assume that was you, Mary Ann, and Amy, and others, but I felt really comfortable. It was just very well done. So thank you for giving us all that information. It was excellent.
Just to make note, I basically punted this to the 3 staff members, so it's complimentary to the 3 staff members, Amy, Michelle, and Sam Bird. They provided me with a comprehensive memo, and I provided the memo on top. But the 3 of them worked diligently on that. So I just want to clarify that it was more the 3 of the staff members.
Sven?
Mary Ann, just to make sure I get it. By the way, I echo Keith's comments and the team. Is this basically an agreement for 210,000 plus a little bit of travel? So it's an agreement for roughly 220 or 2.
Correct. What is on here, there's agreement for 209,000. There is the
25.
travel. And there are two other things I would like to point out to the council that will be based on time and materials. One is the review agreement and assist with negotiations. Also, what they called is to resolve work disputes, which hopefully we won't have any. And I think also there was one for change orders. Yes,
Change order.
also one for change orders. So there's 3 items. Those are based on time and materials. And the reason that's like that, let's use change order as an example. Until you get into a project, you have plans, you have drawings. It's not until you start working that you may come across a change order that you weren't aware of that was not spec'd out. And then a change order is submitted, it goes through the process. The project manager will review that change order and make a recommendation to the town as to how to proceed. So it's at 209 plus the travel, and we may see some change orders. And we may see some change order disputes and other things that they'll work on based on time and materials.
Thank you very much, and I fully support the initiative.
That's great. Mary Ann, thank you so much, and staff too. I mean, I know this has been a long road, but it's been, in my eyes, it's been a long and methodical road that is, you know, we really owe them a debt of gratitude so far where they've gotten us. And it's not even, they haven't even put any shovels in the ground yet. So I feel confident that, you know, we are going to get what we promised everybody we were going to get out of this. But I do want to let everybody know as part of this discussion that we are going to be having a broadband work session on December 10th. That's this Thursday, 7 p.m. I believe. And we're going to be, no, what time is it?
Molly, correct me if I'm wrong. I thought that meeting was scheduled for 4 p.m.
You're correct.
It's 4 p.m.
I would have been 3 hours late to that one. Thank you for clarifying that. So broadband work session Thursday, December 10th at 4 p.m. We will be getting a big update on that. And if I would encourage the public to attend, because this is going to be the one where, you know, we're going to try to answer as many questions as people have. But I won't go on too much about that. I'm just going to make a motion to direct the town manager to enter into contract with Mission Broadband as the project manager for the island-wide broadband project.
Second.
Seconded by Sven. All those in favor, Momo?
Aye.
Keith?
Yes.
Martha?
Yes.
Opposed?
Yes.
None? And I approve, so motion carries. Number 8 is discuss and act on the annual renewal of the moped, tricycle, bicycle, and scooter moped rental licenses for 2021. Mary Ann, could you take the lead on this one? I know
Sure. As most of the council currently know, and I have updated the 2 new council members, that in recent weeks, both myself, Lieutenant Dean, Martha Ball, and Charlene have been meeting with some of the moped owners to discuss ways that we could have what I would call a better summer than we did last year, and implement some safety procedures and a number of other things. Unfortunately, I was not aware that the renewal of the licenses was scheduled for December. For some reason, I had in my head that it was March, April timeframe. And I had planned to come to the council in January with some recommendations and what we have discussed and what we had agreed to with the moped owners. So what I would ask and recommend to the council that this item be continued until the January 20th meeting. So at that point, I will be able to come forward with the recommendations, work with the moped owners to let them know what I'm bringing forward to the council. I don't want to get ahead of it and don't want to be premature. So I do apologize for not having this to you for this evening. I just was, for some reason, was in my head. It was a March, April timeline for when these licenses were renewed. And now I do know it's in December.
Thank you, Mary Ann. Solicitor Marola, are you here?
Yes, I am.
I know, thank you, Kathy. As I understand, we have to act on these within a month after they're approved. You know, the applications are approved by the council, by the clerk's office. And that's
Well,
within,
there is a provision in the ordinance, but there's also provision in the ordinance that says each license may be renewed on or after the first of each year. That's section 8-83. So by taking this action now to continue, you are acting on them. And based on the negotiations and discussions between the town manager and the moped dealers, which are ongoing, I think it does make a lot of sense to put it to the January meeting.
so, okay. I'll make a motion that we continue the discussion on the annual renewal of moped, tricycle, bicycle, and moped rental licenses for 2021 to the January 20th, 21 meeting.
Second.
Seconded by Sven. Is there any discussion? Is there any representatives from the moped folks here that?
Yes, good evening. Elizabeth Noonan on behalf of all of the moped applicants. I believe I've spoken to some of you before. We understand that the meetings have been taking place with the town manager and other members, and my clients are more than willing to proceed with those, so long as Solicitor Marola said, you're acting in accordance. They were filed and should be acted on within 30 days. But understanding where we are, I think a continuance to January 21st.
Like June.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. No, January.
Right.
21st would be acceptable and seems to make sense in this case.
Thank you,
Do we
Counsel.
mean the 20?
Go ahead. I was just going to say.
Do we mean the 21st?
Martha, go ahead.
Do we mean the 21st or the 20th?
It's the 20th.
The 20th?
The Wednesday's the 20th.
That's for the meeting, but it may take a day or two to finalize wording. So.
Yeah, but it has to be continued until the date of the meeting, and the meeting is the 20th.
We'll be ready for
Just
that.
to be
meeting.
sure.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's not. I will be sure the motion is the 20th, not the 21st.
Thank you, Counselor, for attending the meeting tonight. And on behalf of the council, I think we all appreciate the discussions that are going on. And, if you could just let them know that, personally, I appreciate their being involved in these discussions also.
No, I agree. I think it's critical, and I'm glad that they're ongoing. So
Thank you.
see you in the new year.
In the new year.
Thanks.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any discussion on this input? Council-wise? I don't see any hands up.
Mark's hands up.
Mark, go ahead.
Just because we're about to continue this item doesn't mean we're discounting it in any way, shape, or form. There's at least 3 people on this screen right now who are only there because of this item, or more so because of this item. And I personally take it extremely serious. It goes back a long way with me. So it is not going to be delayed. Whatever action we take when that final decision is made, we are not going to let it get to the point where before you know it, it's summertime. It's a priority, I know, of at least the majority of the town council, that what happened last summer and too many previous summers before it does not happen again.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark. And this is why we're having these discussions. And I'm glad everybody's being civil about them. I'm thrilled about that. Anybody else? All those in favor? Mark?
Aye.
Sven?
Aye.
Martha?
Aye, and the motion is to the 20th, correct?
The 20th, yes. And Keith?
Thanks.
Yes.
Motion carries. And we'll see you with the moped operators on the 20th.
Andre, one last thing, please. I want to applaud the Block Island residents, Respect Block Island. That group has been outstanding with their suggestions. And I hope we can apply a lot of what they're talking about.
Thank you, Mark. And there's been a lot of other people that have given us a lot of really good input on this. And I think the town manager's been relayed to the town manager, and I think through the moped operators that, everybody's just kind of getting the message. And while there are certain groups that are helping immensely, they're not the only ones. So next item on the agenda, discuss and act on the annual renewal of commercial shellfish licenses. This comes up every year. Is anybody from Shellfish here? Anybody from the Shellfish here? Molly, as a point of order, do we renew the resident ones first and then go and get and then do the non-resident?
That's normally the way that you've done it in the past, but you can certainly mix it up a little bit. There are no surprises on this list.
No, I know. I'm just, all right, well, I'll make a motion to renew the resident shellfish and commercial licenses for Jill Fallon, Charlie Gale, John Grant, Eric Gustafson, Peter Hellstrom, Frederick Howarth, Chris Littlefield, and John Swenton.
Second.
Seconded by Mark. All those in favor or opposed? Mark?
Aye.
Martha?
Aye.
Where is he? Keith?
Yes.
And Sven?
Aye.
Motion carries. Make a motion to renew the non-resident commercial shellfishing license for James Nelson.
Second.
Seconded by Mark. All those in favor or opposed? Mark?
Aye.
Martha?
Aye.
Keith?
Aye.
And I agree. Motion carries 5-0. Nothing on both of these items. Next item on the agenda is receive and act on a memorandum for Deer Task Force regarding antler deer tags. We did have a meeting with the Deer Task Force, and they made a motion to request the Department of Environmental Management to waive the one antler deer rule to unlimited antler deer for archery, muzzle, and shotgun hunting. I'm just wondering, Mary Ann, I don't know where that stands.
This is, and just really quickly, First Warden, that you did skip number 10, so you will need to go back to number 10 about deer hunting, town property, plat 20, lot 20. You
Okay.
can get back to that. As far as I know, in regard to this, and Molly may be able to provide a little more of historical fact with this, that at one point that the town did allow for more than one antler deer tag. It was up to 5, and then the council brought it down to 1. And the task force, deer task force, is before you, asking you to increase that again.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go back to number 10. We didn't switch this agenda up legally, so continued for number 18, discuss and act on deer hunting dates for town property on plat 20, lot 20. The Deer Task Force did have a meeting on this. I think Keith and I attended, and Molly was there to graciously guide them through it. So they're asking for, they want deer hunting on plat 20, lot 20, which is in between, it's kind of part of Bean Point, to follow Block Island's deer hunting dates from January 25th through February 26, 2020. And that was the discussion. Does anybody have any input on that? Am I muted?
Nope, you aren't.
No,
Nope.
you're good.
Okay.
You may have a member or two of the Deer Task Force in the audience.
Is anybody from Deer Task Force here? Do we know if anyone's here?
I thought someone had signed in earlier.
Is
with a
anybody
telephone number.
from Deer Task Force that would like to comment on this item? There, I mean, okay, raise your hand. How does the council feel about this?
Oh,
I'm fine.
Keith
yeah,
said,
I attended the meeting. I thought they made a compelling case, and I think the more days we have to hunt, the better, as long as it can be done safely.
I do. I felt that way also leaving that
Yeah.
meeting. I felt as though we owe them, well, not owe them, but we need to support them. And I think their charge is to reduce the deer herd on Block Island, and that's exactly what they're doing. And I agree with that 100%. You know, we have a health crisis on Block Island before COVID, and it was deer. And I don't want to lose sight of that. But Sven, I see your hands up. Go ahead.
Sven, go ahead.
We've had a number of conversations with the Deer Task Force regarding different ideas, and I don't know if they were brought up in your meeting. One of them was around processing of deer. We've seen different things, and I'm hoping that we can start to expand the ability to harvest, I'll use that term, and move forward. Andre, you mentioned it is a major issue on the island, health issue, health crisis. We can't forget that. We actually delayed the shotgun season for a month until December. So I'm in favor of this, but I'm actually in favor of sort of getting out of the box that we're in. And I've attended a couple of Deer Task Force meetings where I thought we were getting there, but I think we need to figure out how to help increase the box. And what I mean by that is whether it's processing and the deer, or just somehow increasing the take. And unfortunately, we're sort of in the middle of it, but maybe now we need to start for next year so that we can actually have a big year. For those that don't know, 2 years ago, there were specifically three or four people who did get a lot of deer. It really helped. They didn't hunt very much last year, meaning 1920. And there was very few deer taken. I think, I don't know how it's going to go this year. We'll see how the tails are, but we need to figure out how to ramp that up for next year. So I'm in support of this. I'm also in support of more ways to safely harvest more deer.
Go ahead, Keith.
I just to follow up on that, Sven, Heather Hatfield gave the Deer Task Force some very encouraging news about an organization in Rhode Island. I think it was called, Andre, the Southeast Asian Coalition, or something along those lines, which will take deer that have merely been gutted. So they literally don't have to be broken down, which I think, according to what I learned at my first Deer Task Force meeting, is one of the barriers to taking a lot of deer is the dressing of the deer and the effort that takes for some hunters. So, it occurred to me, I'm sure it occurred to Andre, that if there are things we can do to help hunters store deer, whatever, if there is a group that's willing to take them, and apparently DEM is totally fine with it, I think we ought to do whatever we can.
Perfect.
Andre, this is Kevin from the Deer Task Force. Can I speak for a minute?
Yes, Kevin, go ahead.
Yes, everything they've said today is very true from the last meeting. We definitely need to reduce the deer herd out of here. The thing with the Southeast and what they're talking about as far as accepting deer, there is a group on the mainland that will accept deer, the Southeast Asians, and there was Laws wrote a great article in the newspaper about it, the number to call. But there's still nothing in place as far as a hunter bringing deer to the ferry. So if you were to bring the deer down to the ferry, what would you do with it? And I would think that you would want it covered because, you know, there's going to be it's not going to be the most pleasant sight for people that are riding the ferry. So I think there needs to be something worked out with the ferry company as far as getting these deer off the island. It's a fantastic idea, and it will greatly help as far as getting people to shoot deer out here.
Great, Kevin. Thank you so much. I would expect we're going to have a discussion on that at some point, but right now, I'd like to stick to the agenda item of the hunting dates for Bean Point. Otherwise, I think we could get, obviously we could get off track with deer, but I was at your meeting. I understand that that's something you need to iron out there, and we need to as a town. But right now, I think we're on to, the deer dates for Plat 20, Lot 20. And I had a question from Molly. Those dates follow what they did last year, correct?
In large part, yes.
Are there, okay. So I'll make a motion that we allow deer hunting on Plat 20, Lot 20 to follow Block Island deer hunting dates from January 25th, 2020 through February 26th, 2020.
Second.
Andre. Second by Sven. Go ahead. Who's?
Andre.
Yes.
This is Peter Gemp. Can you hear me?
Yep, Peter Gemp. Go ahead.
Andre, a few years ago, we had done this, and we had donated deer to Amos House, and were subsequently nearly arrested by the DEM and the FDA.
Right, Pete, I understand that. Right now,
has that been straightened out?
No, we're not talking about that tonight. We're talking about hunting dates on Plat 20, Lot 20. And I'd like to keep because we need to, I'd like to keep the discussion on that because we do need to do work on that issue with DEM. And that's another issue altogether that we'll obviously see on an agenda. But right now.
Right. But if you're going to hunt them, I'm not going to shoot one unless somebody's going to take it. So it's a catch-22.
Pete's right.
I'm not going to go shoot a deer if no one's going to eat it. I'm not going to throw it in the dumpster. That is totally wrong. And we've already gone through this, and this was maybe 11 years ago. I know what you're trying to say. You want to set the dates, but I'm not going to go hunt a deer and throw it in the dumpster and let it rot. That's wrong.
I'm missing something about why would anybody go out there and shoot a deer and throw it in the dumpster?
Because they stopped the ferry in Point Judith, the FDA and the DEM. Now this is going back a long way when Steve Winters and Gary Sincerio and myself had donated 9 deer to Amos.
A lot of Pika involved. The Pika, I chimed in and Pika involved now.
Right.
And they stopped the deer. They threw the deer away. They were wasted. And the gentleman at the boat that was going to pick up the deer said that they could have fed those people for almost the whole winter.
I know, but
so if you're going to pass a thing where you can say you can go shoot deer, why are you going to go shoot a damn deer if no one's going to eat it? I'm not going to shoot a deer and throw it in the dumpster. That's not the way I live. I can only fit maybe one in my dumpster. That's fine.
I'm wondering what this ties into hunting dates. I just don't understand how this is tied into hunting dates.
Because
Andre,
Martha Ball, go ahead.
I don't think that this is what I was trying to remember that I couldn't remember. Thank you, Peter. Can't that just be referred over to the manager and the Deer Task Force for resolution? I don't think that needs to be on an agenda, does it? Straightening things out with the DEM and being sure that's all clear, and we can move on with the item on our agenda.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do, but I just don't understand how it's tied in to setting.
It's not tied in, but I think just get it off the table right and get it done.
Okay, Sven.
I don't think we need to talk. I don't think we need to take action on it as a council unless the manager comes back to us and says we need action.
On that,
there's no reason. This is Peter again. There's no reason to shoot a deer if it's going to be thrown in a dumpster. If it's
We
going
get
to help
here.
people eat that, then that's fine. So why figure out dates when you can shoot them when you can't do a goddamn thing with them?
Sven, go ahead.
Peter, I hear you loud and clear and with you, actually. The focus right now is on timing and dates, and I agree with Andre. My request would be, to Martha's point, let's let Marianne and staff work with DEM, and maybe at the next meeting, have this on an agenda item, should it be necessary, around the getting of the deer and or meat to groups on the mainland. So let's vote on the dates now, and if Marianne needs it to be on an agenda, if it has to be on town council agenda, then it can be there at the next meeting in 10 days.
This doesn't start till January 25th anyway.
But the holidays are going to get in the middle, so I'm hoping
Yeah, I
that
know.
or Marianne can figure out a way to get this moved through. And because I agree with Pete, I mean, people won't hunt if they can't get rid of the deer, so let's help them get rid of the deer.
All right, so maybe, can somebody help me out here?
Yes. Make your motion, and then for Pete, what we'll do is Marianne
Well, I made the motion and it was seconded. We're discussing it now, but I'm just kind of wondering why this plat of property is any different than any other piece of property to hunt deer on.
This property, Andre, is town-owned property.
I understand that, but
So
okay.
the hunting schedule, oh, I'm sorry. You weren't asking about the hunting dates. All right.
Well, I'm wondering why. Okay.
It's no
Andre, I
different
can
than
help you
any
with this.
other
My name
property.
is Kevin Sheridan. Andre, it's Kevin.
no different than
Again, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Pete, hang on a second. Kevin, go ahead.
This piece of property you're talking about lends itself to waterfowl hunting, as far as ducks and geese and what have you. So it's really more of a waterfowl spot. So I think it was, I think the big question was the waterfowl people want to keep that for themselves. Honestly, it's so wet and marshy there. I don't think it's kind of a big deer spot. I could be wrong. I'm not living here that long, so I shouldn't speak out of turn, but I'm just saying to you, I think that was the big gist of it, was that it was more of a waterfowl spot. That's all.
Okay, thank you. But you seconded the motion on the Deer Task Force to allow hunting on Plat 20, Lot 20 from January 25th to February 26th. So the Deer Task Force is all on board with these dates?
Yeah, because by that time of the waterfowl season, it should be pretty much over. So it doesn't interfere.
Okay. Martha, do you still have your hand up?
No.
Thank you. So there's a motion that's been seconded on the floor to allow these hunting dates. So I'm going to call the roll. Sven?
Aye.
Keith?
Yes.
Mark? Mark? Martha?
Aye.
And Mark, I believe you're muted. I need your vote.
Aye.
Thank you, and I vote in the affirmative. Motion passes unanimous. Okay, so now we're on to number 11, receive and act on memo from the Deer Task Force regarding antler deer tags. And Kevin, while you're here, I think this is something that we have to direct the town manager to talk to DEM about. Is that what am I correct in assuming that?
I believe so. I was under the impression, and I'm new to the state. I mean, I've done a tremendous amount of hunting in my life. I was told that you only had one deer with a firearm and one deer with archery that's antlered buck. And there's members that think that it would be beneficial to make it unlimited like it used to be. I guess that's how it used to be. I don't see how it can hurt. If you're really looking to eliminate the amount of deer we have here, then I guess everyone counts. I mean, obviously, if you shoot does, it is really what you're going after. But guess what? If you shoot bucks, it's the same thing. So I don't see a problem with this. I'm for it. I voted for it. So
Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate you coming and talking on behalf of the Deer Task Force this evening. So Mary Ann, how do you suggest we move forward with this?
I agree with Martha at this point. A couple of points were brought up by members of the Deer Task Force. Let me spend some time. The hunting will not take place on this property until January 25th. So this gives me a couple of weeks to spend some time with DEM and catch up on it historically, what's going on, and also familiarize myself as to actually taking the deer off island on the boat. I know there's a couple of things that have been discussed, so let me spend some time with it.
Thank you. Should we continue it to a date certain, or I don't want it to see, I do want to support the task force, and this is something they're asking us to do. So I'm wondering if we should continue this to a date certain, or,
So wait, what did we just vote?
I'm sorry, who was that?
What did we just vote on? It's Martha.
Martha,
I thought
what
we
did,
just voted on.
Martha,
We voted on dates.
we just voted on dates.
Right. We voted on what Mary Ann just spoke to, and we're talking about the archery. I thought we were now talking about the first thing in the memo.
We're looking, yes, yes. We're talking, now we're on number 11 on the agenda.
This doesn't have to do with moving the getting to the mainland. This has to do with the does and bucks or antlers, right?
Antlers.
Here, yes. And I don't believe that we'd be able to institute anything this year on this topic anyway.
Right.
So, but I would like the town manager to investigate this. So I don't know if we need a motion for that, but.
Andre?
Input? Mark?
Why?
Mark, go ahead.
Yeah, for anyone out there who doesn't know my history on this issue, and I'm not going to get into it at length, but I've been in favor for decades of eradication of the deer in the safest, fastest, and most productive way possible. What's in front of us now is a way to achieve at least the reduction part of that until we finally all embrace eradication on Block Island. So if we have a tool to assist us with reduction, I want to use it as soon as possible. And if it means that our town manager has to go to DEM, I want her to go with the knowledge that the full town council is 100% in favor of this.
Thank you, Mark. Anybody else? I think right now what we need, I think right now we need to learn if it's actually possible from DEM. So I'm leaning on letting Mary Ann do the investigations and then coming back with us, because I do support this. I think our goal is to get as many deer off and out or in a dumpster or in a freezer as we can. Because like I said, we have a public health issue and it's Lyme. I'd be inclined to just, let Mary Ann do the investigation for this and come back with a report. I don't know how the rest of you would feel about this.
Agree.
All right. And Mary Ann, I kind of gather that you don't want to set a date certain, so.
If you want to, I was just looking at the calendar. I would go, if you like to set a date certain, I would recommend January 4th.
You think that's enough time for you?
Well, I'm working with state agencies. We're getting around the holiday time. I do have someone that I have spoken to at the state, Fish and Wildlife, that we have a relationship with here with the town. So I will start leaning on him and seeing if he can facilitate us with this issue.
All right, thank you so much on that. So I'll make a motion that we continue item number 11 regarding the Deer Task Force, a memo from the Deer Task Force regarding antler deer tags.
Second. What was your motion again? Say it again.
It was, we're just going to continue the item, number 11, continue the memo from the Deer Task Force regarding antler deer tags, and we're going to, figure out if we can legally do this or not.
To
Mary Ann
January 4th.
And Mary Ann will report back to us on January 4th.
Second.
Mark, go ahead.
I'll make it brief. If I had a nickel for every time the deer item has come up for discussion and the wasted hours we've spent on this particular issue, we have to start turning in full agreement that eradication is the way to go, so we can finally take this item off any further agenda.
Thanks, Mark. So I'm going to call the roll. I'm in favor of this. Sven?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Martha?
Okay,
Martha, we're just continuing until January 4th.
okay.
Keith?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. And Kevin, thank you so much. Will you let the Deer Task Force know that, we're going to get the information on the deer, on the antler deer, and we're going to meet back on this. It's not going to just disappear from an agenda. Next item
Andre, this is Peter.
Go ahead, Pete.
Just one more thing about, you're talking about antler deer. The town manager or whoever may be in charge of whatever's going on, we had a problem with Interstate before, and I hope that she does find out from them also that how they're going to be shipped. They cannot be shipped over a state line. And that's where we got in trouble before. We were trying to do something that was correct and right, and we were feeding homeless people. It doesn't matter if they got antlers or not. It has to be made clear by the FDA, because they said they had to be stamped, that we could ship these deer to the mainland. Interstate had a problem with people seeing these things on the boat. They have to be covered up, unseen. There was a big to-do. God, I'm going back maybe 7 or 8 years now this has been going on. We were trying to do something that was correct. We thought we were, and we got shut down and almost got fined lots of dollars. And there's many things that have to be looked at before you can say we can open up these state lands. It doesn't matter whether it's state lands, private lands, my backyard, your backyard. If we can ship these, like I said before, I'm not going to kill something and throw it in a damn dumpster. And that's what I have to say. Thank you.
Always appreciated, Pete. We are going to continue this discussion in January. So please join us. Next item on the agenda is number 12, receive and act on a recommendation from the New Shoreham Sewer District Commission to add Plat 8, Lot 215 to the sewer district. Mary Ann?
Yeah, this came from, oops, am I muted? Oh, I'm not, great. This came from the Sewer Commission, and according to the memo that's in the file, Plat 8, Lot 215 is currently in the water district. It's not in the sewer district. However, it is adjacent to the sewer district, and the Sewer Commission has discussed, and they have recommended to the council that we add Plat Lot 8, Lot 215 to the sewer district. So I would recommend that the council approve this.
I'll make a motion that we add. Make a motion that we add Plat 8, Lot 215 to the sewer district on the recommendation of the Sewer Commission and the town manager.
Second.
Thanks, Mark. So for the discussion part of this, can you just, Mary Ann, can you just for the public and discussion, just where is this? Not on a map, just where is it? Or anybody, if anybody can.
I'm not sure where exactly Plat 8, Lot 215 is. I apologize.
That's fine.
Dylan Chase, New Shore.
Dylan, thank you.
Sewer, yeah. It's across the street from the school.
It's across the street from the school. That's where it is.
Next to Marianne.
I couldn't resist. I'm sorry.
Fair enough.
Got my eyes on you too. Okay, great. Sven, all those in favor or opposed?
Aye.
Sven? Mark?
Aye.
Keith?
Yep. Yes.
That sounded like a maybe, Keith. Are you good?
Oh, it was a yep. I was trying to unmute myself, so I said it repeatedly. So you probably caught the tail end of one of my yeses.
Thank you. Martha?
I had a question. You didn't
yeah.
ask the question.
All right, I didn't see your hand.
Is this
right.
at the request of the property owner or of the sewer commission?
It is at the request of the property owner. It's Dylan Chase again. Yes.
Okay, thanks. That's all I needed to know. Aye.
Thank you, Martha. I vote in the affirmative. Motion passes unanimously. Communication, report from the Old Harbor Task Force regarding downtown concerns of the summer of 2020. The Old Harbor Task Force has sent us a memo. I'm going to read it because they took the time to send it. It says to Town Manager Mary Ann Crawford, First Warden, and members of the Town Council, from Margie Cummings, Old Harbor Task Force 2020 update on Town Manager's report concerns downtown Old Harbor area, dated November 13th, 2020. Last year, the Old Harbor Task Force sent the Town Manager and Town Council a member about a number of concerns regarding the downtown area where we felt the town could and should do a better job. Due to a number of unforeseen circumstances, the Town Manager left and the pandemic arrived. Not much headway was made with the list last year. Therefore, the committee decided to send the Town Manager and the Town Council an updated report in hopes that some items can be improved before next summer. While the committee discussed traffic and congestion downtown in last year's memo, we want to emphasize 2020 was worse, both in traffic and in people's behavior. The Town Council and the Town Manager must look at all the ways the downtown streets are being used to see how traffic and pedestrians can share the roads and sidewalks. For example, boat schedules might be changed so they don't all arrive at lunchtime. The number of mopeds could be reduced. The police could be more active in promoting good behavior, such as people using the crosswalks and bike riders riding in single file. Delivery trucks that block traffic might not be allowed to unload downtown midday, and mopeds allowed only to park in designated areas, not car parking spaces. And last but not least, what about Chapel Street? There has been discussion on how it can be used better, street closed and used as a pedestrian walkway and visitor center, made one way or used for additional parking. This brainstorming needs to continue so the best use of our downtown streets is found. It is clear that mopeds need additional regulation, and while the Town Council and Town Manager made a nice start this summer, it must continue to develop these regulations over the winter. Reduce the number of mopeds, no training of mopeds on public roads, additional training of the driver, and safety rules such as no sandals. It is a bad idea to talk about replacing mopeds with rental electric scooters, as our roads are not built for this mode of transportation. We recommend you continue to ban them. We also have reservations about rental electric bikes working well on our narrow sandy roads, so we recommend banning them until additional research can be done on this mode of transportation. Since the Town Manager is working hard to get up to speed on Block Island's needs, both short and long term, the Old Harbor Task Force wants to mention two long-term goals for the downtown area that have been discussed over the years. Better lighting for Water Street, Victorian-style streetlights, and for the downtown power lines to be placed underground. We want the Town Manager and the Town Council to be aware of these goals in case grant money becomes available. As mentioned in last year's memo, the bathrooms downtown continue to be a major concern, and they are in need of serious renovation. Cigarette trash is found throughout the downtown area, even in the parks where smoking is not allowed. Sidewalks still need repairs, and trash needs to be removed. A discussion about outside merchandise displays and whether or not they should be regulated still needs to be held. And then there's a visitor center, nothing happening this year and is still in need of reorganization and additional space. The Old Harbor Task Force is pleased to report that our application this fall to the Solar Initiative Program requested funding for 5 sets of solar-powered trash cans for the downtown area has been granted. we will be receiving $50,000 to purchase these 5 sets in 2021. The one set of solar-powered trash cans by Big Belly, located by the Old Harbor Takeout, has been operating successfully for a year. Sean McGarry at the Block Island Recycle Management purchased the set last year and has given the Old Harbor Task Force periodic updates on how well the trash compactor, fewer pickups, saving in gas, manpower, and trips, operates, and how using Wi-Fi, the operator can check to see how full the trash can is, doing away with useless trips. Not only do they function well, but they are attractive. The hands-free operation, a foot pedal, is a plus. So I want to thank the Old Harbor Task Force for sending in these recommendations and their thoughts about the downtown harbor area. I didn't know a trash can could cost $10,000, but I thank everybody for the initiative there, and especially Sean at the dump for putting them out there as a demonstration. I think they really did catch on, and obviously they did, because there's funding for a few more, and I do think they fit in, they work great. But I think what we're going to do with this is, Mary Ann is working on all of these items to come up with a plan for how the island's going to be hopefully conducted, in the summertime next summer. So I think this has a lot of useful information in it, and it's going to become part of Mary Ann's packet, when she comes back to us with the recommendations on all of this. And I do remember, Sven, you had met with the Chamber and Tourism and everything to come up with a downtown plan. I think the last time we were supposed to hear about that was last January 13th. And then COVID hit, and I don't think we ever took it up since. So it is still in the background, and I'm hoping we can actually, as Margie is requesting, pick that up and run with it. I think Sven, I believe the recommendations for the groups that you were meeting with was basically just waiting on a hearing before the council.
Yeah, if I can just update, and I think when we talk about meeting dates coming up, I would love to even talk either now or soon about a work session on this, because, for example, as noted in the memo, closing the end of Chapel Street to a pedestrian walkway was one of the ideas, and we had a lengthy discussion about this, and a few others. So I look forward to pursuing many of these with Mary Ann, and depending on how we want to work forward, I can gladly stay as a point person and report back.
Thank you, Sven. Anybody else? Anybody else in the public?
Andre, it's Peter again.
Oh, Peter Kemp, go ahead.
I pay, I won't say a lot of money. I think it's it's more than fair to fish out of Old Harbor. When I go down there, I know that Kate has been doing an exponential job in trying to figure this out. They did move things around. They looked at the benchmarks. There's nowhere to park. This lawsuit has been, God, I don't know how many years now, 8, 9 years since Nancy started this. I go down to go fishing, and there is no place to park because ballots have taken up parking spaces, and people from the town. There is a triangle that I know that we've been working on for years and years and years, and I don't, unless I missed something, I don't think it ever got straightened out. So that's something for the town manager to also look at. I mean, when you go down there and you're all ready to go fishing and there is nowhere, I have to park an interstate, and then I have a pink slip on my truck because I'm paying for a place in Old Harbor for my commercial vessel to commercial fish, but I can't park there. So just hoping that interstate is not going to tow my truck, I will park there, and they haven't as of yet, but it's something that has to be looked into, and this has been going on for years and years and years and has never been straightened out. So I think that's something that should be looked at as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pete. And you know what? If the town manager is available, if you want to give her a call and set up a meeting, and you can. I'm sure she'd be happy to hear your concerns down there. And a little bit of history is always goes a long way.
Thank you very much, Andre.
You're welcome. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for your input. Did we lose Martha?
I'm back. You did. I lost you.
Thank you. I saw you were missing, and I was ready to let you in, but we figured we'd
Thank
leave you
you.
out there for a while.
Andre?
Oh, Mark, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to thank Peter again for bringing that up. He's right. It's been going on for a long time. I fought the battle along with wonderful Michael Ernst and some other fishermen 4 years ago, and it wasn't remedied. It was kind of kicked down the road. I think on this particular item, we should prioritize it in Old Harbor and fix the problem. And we have to do it creatively. And I think we have some creative ideas out there that I will discuss with Mary Ann when I speak with her next. But we can't let this go on another 2 years.
Thanks, Mark. Thank you. I appreciate that. Anybody else?
Thank you very much.
Comment? Any other comments on this topic? Number 14, discuss and act on the 2021 meeting schedule. Councilors all have a copy of that?
Yes, Andre, no conflicts with me?
Okay. Anybody else?
I'm good.
I mean, I always look at these and say, I don't have any conflicts until I have a conflict, so I'm not going to hold proving this. I do know, I think we have to add something in January. Is
Right.
that correct? We have to add,
So is it January 13th, the Wednesday? I think we're missing a work session or workshop, whatever you folks call it. I haven't gotten the vernacular quite down yet.
okay, it's a work session, but you can call it what you'd like as long as we get work done. So we have to add Wednesday, January 13th, 2021, and the time on that? The reason I'm asking is because I've always been under the impression we had work sessions at 4 in the afternoon and meetings at night. And I know that it seems as though this has changed, and I don't know when that changed. And I'm fine with that. I'm just, was it convenient for other people to have it at 7 or? Because work sessions always were at 4.
The work sessions used to be at 4 in the winter and at 7 in the summer, and it was so you could work a full day in the summer.
Okay, so now everything's at 7, I see, correct? Except for the November 3rd liquor?
The winter work sessions should be at 4 o'clock. If they're not, that's my error.
December 1st is at 4.
And the winter got shorter and shorter on
When does the time change?
oh, Martha, I don't know when the time changed.
Because that was a factor also.
That's right. It had to do with the length of daylight in the afternoon.
Okay.
I think we can safely say that January work session would be at 4 o'clock.
There's a planning board meeting, I believe, also on Wednesday, the 13th at 4.
So
Yeah, I
that's-
wondered if there was a Zoom conflict going on.
Yeah, that's I was thinking was a
We're
Zoom.
either for that 13th, we're either on at 7 or at 1.
You know what it would be? It would be the first Wednesday for the work session, which would put it January 6th,
Oh, that was my error. Go with the 6th.
2 days after the meeting.
I'm good with the 6th.
No, goodbye.
Then, what?
The first Wednesday in January falls 2 days after the first Monday. That makes it January 6th.
Okay, we continue to the meeting. Is that correct?
Can you repeat that, Martha?
Never mind. It's fine.
So I'd like to, I propose adding January 6th as a work session at 4 PM following the December and November timings. Is that okay, Molly?
Thank you.
And that's instead of the 13th, right?
Correct.
Uh,
Thanks for pointing out that conflict, Sven.
The time changes on the 14th of March.
right. I may have a conflict with the 6th, but set the meeting. It's fine.
Martha, do you want the March work session to be at 4 o'clock in the afternoon since the time change won't have happened yet?
I mean, it doesn't matter to me.
How about we make
I know-
February 3rd at 4 PM and see about March? Let's at least decide January and February, Molly.
Because by March, the days are longer already.
Yeah, that works. That February should be at 4.
February definitely at 4.
Andre, one of my, and we don't need to talk about it now, but I would love to have a meeting or at least these work sessions where we really get into topics and singular topics and go deep into them and have a good dialogue. And maybe one of the early ones is even to determine, hey, what are the goals we want to talk about for the year or for a period of time. So my hope is that that January one would be obviously a good one because it's the start of the year. But if you can't be there, then we would hold that off, I guess.
Well, obviously with Zoom, anybody can be anywhere, but I may not be on the island. I mean, I'm only saying that because that's when I got to drive a kid back to college. I'm fine. I can call in. Anybody? We don't have to make a motion to approve these minutes, right? We're just going through, these dates.
Yeah.
We do have to make a motion.
Andre? It's Peter again.
Go ahead, Peter.
My phone is just blowing up. I was just reminded that this has been going on for between 17 and 20 years. I'm talking about the parking down at Old Harbor again. I had to drop off for a minute. I'm sorry, I might have missed something. The other concern is that there's only so many real commercial fishermen still left in the harbor. But the parking problem is their customers, what this gentleman was trying to explain was they can't get there. There's nowhere to park. It really has to be looked at. And like you said, if we have certain meetings about certain things, I think that will really help. Not trying to throw all this in at once and trying to straighten out one thing at a time, I think would be really great. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks, Pete.
So Andre, just finishing up on the schedule, what I heard us say was that on January 6th at 4 PM, we're adding a meeting, and the February 3rd, 7 o'clock meeting goes to 4 PM. Other than that, I haven't heard anything. So I make a motion to approve, I guess.
And I'll second. All those in favor or opposed? Martha?
Wait a minute.
Go ahead.
The September 6th?
January.
I said January, I believe we just agreed January 6th.
I know. I said September 6th. That doesn't look right.
Oh, sorry.
Does it? I'm trying to find a calendar without losing.
September 6th is a Monday.
Isn't that Labor Day?
That's Labor Day.
Yeah, we won't be meeting then.
Yeah.
Yep, that's an
That's Labor
oversight.
Day.
Sorry about that. Normally, you would meet on the Tuesday after Labor Day?
So I'm going to revise my motion to include moving the September 6th at 7 p.m. to September 7th at 7 p.m. plus the other two January and February. Good catch, Martha.
I'll amend my second. Anybody? Anybody else have any input?
That's all I've got.
Good catch.
Okay.
We have a meeting on May 4th. It's a holiday. It should be a holiday.
Huh.
Rhode Island Independence Day,
Independence
folks. I'm
Day.
going to remind you.
What better way to celebrate?
Well, let's make note of it.
All those in favor of the motion on the floor?
Do a roll.
Sven?
Aye.
Keith?
Yes.
Mark?
Aye.
Martha?
Aye.
I also approve. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is meeting schedule. Receive and act on Champions Realty Associates versus Paul E. Lamont et al. Consolidated with Town of New Shore versus Coastal Research Management Council in the state of Rhode Island. Item may be held in closed session pursuant to Rhode Island General Laws A 42, 46.5, A2 for discussions pertaining to litigation. Is there anything we can say in public about these next two items? Item.
Andre, I think you moved the minutes to the end.
Oh, sorry about that. Yes, we have a big stack of minutes here. All right.
Hey, Andre, before you do the minutes, can I just throw in something I forgot when we were talking about work sessions? I chaired Charter Review, and we've got to put that on an agenda soon. I'm getting a little worried that the legislature is going to act on their, remember the issue was we're going to try to piggyback on the statewide referendum on the States Bond Act. And I get worried as time ticks down that they're going to act quickly and we may miss our window. I know Molly and I have talked about this a month or so ago, but I just wanted to throw that in because I forgot to throw it in when we were doing the meeting schedule. Sorry about that.
Thank you, Keith. Do you want to meet with Molly and, excuse me, Mary Ann to kind of finesse this into an agenda at some point?
Sure, that's fine.
You can do that now. You can add things to the agenda.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. Thank you.
No, that'd be great. And
Thank you.
That conversation that we had to get this done. And I remember Molly
Right.
saying all that about the legislature acting. So Molly and Mary Ann and Keith, as soon as we're ready to have that on an agenda, I'd be happy to put it on.
Thank you, Andre. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for bringing it up. All right, so we got minutes. So I'm going to start with September 21st, 2020. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of September 21st, 2020.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion wise, Molly, I do have, I think there's only one correction on here, and it's under Warden's report. Second Warden Boudreau. Change Lacoste to Boudreau.
I will, thank you.
Thank you. The two sets of minutes for the 21st, they are, there's also closed too, but I just want to make sure everyone has them. Anybody else have any input on September 21st? All those in favor? Sven?
Aye.
Mark? Oh, Mark doesn't. Can Mark vote on these? Or no? Mark,
Just the three of us.
it's just the
I think
three of
so.
us? Okay, Martha, go ahead. Martha?
I thought you could. Oh, aye.
And I approve.
I'm sorry, Andre, maybe check with legal. I thought it was the three people that were at the.
we've got three, so let's just go with that and be safe.
Okay.
Check for them.
Andre, for the record, I'll abstain.
Thank you, Mark. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes, confidential closed session minutes from Monday, September 21st.
Second.
Seconded by Sven. Any input? Any comments? All those in favor? Sven?
Aye.
Martha?
Aye.
Myself, I approve. Make a motion to approve the Thursday, October 29th regular meeting. I didn't see anything in here that was pressing. All those in favor?
You need a second?
You need a second.
I'll second it.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Martha?
Aye.
I approve. Motion carries. Motion to approve the Thursday, October 29th closed session minutes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Sven. All those in favor, Sven?
Aye.
Martha?
Are we supposed to be doing closed session minutes in closed session?
I don't think we ever have, but input from the clerk?
Is Kathy still there?
Yes, it depends on whether or not the minutes were sealed.
Yes, they were.
Forget what I said. Let's talk about it next meeting, closed session.
Well, which minutes were sealed?
The 29th.
So we have to go into closed session to approve minutes?
Well, we're doing it. We're going to closed session anyway.
But we don't have minutes on that agenda. Okay. So, okay, so those, I retract my motion to approve those minutes. Sven retracted his second. Is that all the action we need to take on those? Until we can schedule a closed session to approve them? Kathy?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Make a motion to approve the Monday, November 2nd, 2020 minutes. Molly, I do have one correction, and it was in, it was under 5, set restrictions on mobile establishment operations, locations, and operations. I had actually recused from all of this discussion.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
And number 5 especially says that I actually seconded a motion. So somebody else must have seconded that motion.
They must have.
And I don't know who that was because I was recused.
I can look into that. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. All those in favor? Sven?
Aye.
Are you sure?
Well, I'm just making sure because it, yes.
Martha?
Aye.
Motion passes. All approved. I make a motion to approve the work session agenda from November 9th. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Ben?
Aye.
Are you reading these as we go?
No.
That's-
I wanted on the last one to make sure with the food truck because of the recusal of some of those issues. Thank you.
No, I'm wondering too, about that. Molly, can you
I
get,
think it's worded fine, but we're good.
all right. All those in favor, November 9th, Sven?
Aye.
Martha?
Aye.
And I approve. Thursday, November 12th, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of Thursday, November 12th. These were the liquor hearings. There was one, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Seconded by Sven. There's just one, there's one there. It's just the present first warden, Mr. Ken Lacoste. If you want to just change that to Ken. Molly.
Sorry, can you say that again, please?
In the beginning of the meetings, it says present right underneath the header. Present first warden, Mr. It doesn't have his name. It's Kenneth. It should be Kenneth Lacoste in there.
Thank you.
All those in favor, Sven?
Aye.
Martha?
Aye.
Motion passes. I have minutes. I'm sorry. Oh no, I'm not out of order. I'll make a motion to approve the Wednesday, November 18th, 2020 meeting.
Second. And in here, there's a lot of variation of the Mr. Lacoste, first warden, so let's just keep it.
I'm sorry, what?
Well, it bounces around to Mr. Lacoste, first warden, Kenneth Lacoste, so let's just, I don't think it's
I
worth
think
it.
as long as his name's in there.
Yeah. Exactly.
All those in favor, Sven?
Aye.
Martha?
Aye.
I approve. Motion carries. We have confidential closed minutes for November 18th. I don't remember if those minutes were sealed. Yes, they were. So we'll have to wait on these. I would imagine, right?
We can put them on next week's agenda.
Okay, so we have two sets of minutes that were, one from October 29th and one from November 18th that still needs to be agended under a closed session. I thank you. I thank you, Molly, for getting those to us, and counselors also. Okay, so item number 16, receive and act on Champions Realty Associates versus Paul Lamont, consolidated with Town of New Shawn versus Coastal Resources Management Council in the state of Rhode Island. This item may be held in closed session pursuant to Rhode Island General Laws 4246-5A2 for discussions pertaining to litigation. Kathy, I have a question.
Yes.
Obviously, 16, 17, oh, not obviously, but are we going to go into closed session for these next three items?
That's my understanding. The next two items involve collective bargaining, which are subject to being discussed in closed session.
Is there anything we can say in public about any of these items before we go into closed session?
I can say that the Champlins case, as many of you know, was the town prevailed in that case, and it's on appeal in the Rhode Island Supreme Court. And the issue tonight involves a request from Champlins that will be discussed in closed session.
Okay, thank you so much.
The other two matters I am not counsel for, so perhaps Mary Ann could speak to those.
The other two items are related to a memorandum of agreements that was signed by the town council last, I think they both were last June. So that's what we're discussing, the memorandum of agreements that was signed at that time.
With these organizations. Okay.
One being the police organization, the IBPO, and the other one being Council 94.
Okay, thank you, Marion. I really appreciate that. I will make a motion that we go into closed session.
Second.
Second by Sven. All those in favor or opposed? Sven?
Aye.
Keith?
Yes.
And Mark?
Aye.
And Martha?
Aye.
Motion carries. We're going to go into closed session, but we will be returning to adjourn, I would imagine, or say anything we can that comes out of these. So you guys all have your calling codes, your calling codes for the closed session? Handy? All right.
Yep.
So I motion we go into closed session and motion carries. We'll see you there. So Mark, you would hang up, leave this meeting, and then go to your emails, and you will find a link there for a closed session. It's right underneath the link for the open session. Just click on that.
Bear with me.
Yep. So just leave this meeting on the lower right, and then, did he leave? He left.
Keep telling him.
That's awesome. All right. Well, he's not here anymore. All right, Sven, I think we can leave. See you on the other side.
Hey, Sean.
Hi, Sven. Thank you.
Mark Emmanuel, get in.
I see him here. He's almost before me.
I'm here.
Wow.
Sean's here.
We got Mark.
I'm here.
McGarry. He's got to be asleep.
No, I'm here.
Just seeing if you're paying attention.
Of course I am. Watching some football. Did you guys get my emails?
No, we've been meeting.
Well, read your email.
How can we read emails while we're
All four of you.
all right?
I'm here.
Let's keep the meeting going.
Yep, I'm just waiting for our quorum. We don't have the town manager yet.
Do you have me?
We
Thank you,
got
Martha. Gotcha.
Okay, Marianne.
Where's Keith?
Keith's here.
Keith's here.
I think we're all here.
Marianne's
Myself,
there.
Keith, Mark, Sven, come off the ball, Marianne Crawford, Kat, Sean McGarry. Well, thank you for staying, you guys. Appreciate that. I think. All right, so I'm going to announce that one vote was taken in closed session, and it was a unanimous vote, and that vote was to not enter into mediation with Champlin's Realty Associates. I believe that concludes our business this evening. Kathy, can you confirm that?
I think she left.
Kathy will come back. And now
You have to take the vote in open session.
Yes.
What? We made one vote in closed session, and
Yes, you have to
that-
take the same vote in open session.
I don't believe that that's what I was guided to by the solicitor.
I think you can just repeat it.
Repeat what?
What you did.
This is Molly. You can repeat.
Hi, Molly.
the vote that was taken in closed session. Repeat it
You
in
did.
open session.
Did, yeah.
You just did that.
That's sufficient.
Okay. So I'll let one of the new counselors make a motion to adjourn if we're there, if we do want to leave each other tonight.
So
All right,
moved.
adjourn, I'll do it. There a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Martha said an aye. Mark?
Aye.
Ben?
Aye.
And I didn't forget anybody. Mark, Keith? Right
Aye.
on. And I'm from motion to adjourn.
Nice job, Andre.
And I'm
Just
not
to follow up,
and I
Andre,
don't
when
want
you,
to adjourn. I
Andre, just to follow up, when you take a vote, when you come out of closed session, you have to repeat the vote.
I think he did, Sean.
I did.
No,
I
I
did.
mean, you repeat the motion and each individual vote has to be cast again in public session.
Yeah, okay, but that was not what the
I know. I'm just passing that on.
Okay. I thank you for that info.
Not that I care, just passing it on.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, everybody.